So, what's COVID-19 going to do to the federal budget and consequently the national debt? Well, currently, the deficit was on pace to be about $1.5 trillion in 2020. Remember what the deficit is. The deficit is the amount of money the government is spending that it does not have the revenue to cover. So they're spending about a $1.5 trillion they don't have. But when the economy slows down, and the attempts to flatten the curve, send everybody home or send a lot of people home so they're not working, that's going to reduce tax revenue substantially in a number of different ways. It's going to reduce income taxes, it's going to reduce sales taxes, it's going to reduce gasoline taxes. The revenues that governments collect are simply not going to be as great. Plus, the government goes out and starts spending money to try to stimulate the economy, to try to keep it from utterly collapsing. So this $2.2 trillion CARES Act and the other acts and pieces of legislation that Congress passed to try to stimulate the economy means that the government is now not only collecting less in terms of revenues, but also spending a lot more. So that now in 2020, the estimated level of the government deficit is over $3 trillion. Now, if we look at the iceberg here on the right, the $3 trillion is the stuff that you see. That's the stuff at the top. But you add that to the already existing government budget debt, then that is likely going to make our total national debt over $26.5 trillion. So there's the additional 23.5 trillion, that stuff under the water. We add the 3 trillion estimated from this year, that gives us the 26.5 trillion, and that raises our debt to GDP ratio. So basically, how much do we owe compared to how much do we bring in? That raises it to a relatively uncomfortable 125%. So all of this government spending and all of this lack of tax revenue due to shutting down the economy is just making the future look a lot more uncertain, and making that iceberg that we have here representing the deficit above the water and the debt below the water a lot more dangerous.